They made the Big Ten championship last year. So I mean, I'd never disclude them from conversation. They can just be bad occasionally.
Now just think about this. You're going to have the Big Ten West. It might be a bigger threat than the Big Ten East in 2 years.
Mm,
Purdue moving over to the East? Is that
no, I think they need to competitively balance it though, and they need to move Ohio State or Michigan over to the West.
well, Michigan? Well, never mind. I'm trying to think where Lansing, Michigan is in the state of Michigan, but yeah, when Michigan Michigan State's on the side of Ohio State, right? In Michigan? Or are they
No,
on
they're on the west side. They're
Yeah,
on the
see, I think
western
that's
side of
dumb.
the state.
That's dumb, but okay.
What would you consider those championship games?
Is anybody really going to pay attention to the ACC one? There's no Clemson. By the way, Lincoln Riley's got to say send a thank you note to Spencer Radler. It's like, thank you for helping us get a chance at least into the playoff.
All right. I finally sent out messages and everything, so that's ready. I do not have the there's a script. I was gonna say. Move that over. All right. Are we all ready to go?
Good to go.
I think so.
All righty. Well, welcome back to the SMC show. I know we missed out on last week, but we're here for episode 12. We got a lot to talk about this week. A very wide variety. We have the World Cup group stages are closing up today, so we're going to go over our picks and then look to the round of 16. Then we're going with a new concept this week for the NFL. It's called the Island. Each person is going to pick a playoff contender and then convince us to join your island. You'll have 60 seconds to convince us of your team. And then college basketball, we're going to do some winners and losers. And then we're going to close out with the college football championship games and predicting the winners of those games. They have a lot of playoff implications so far, so we're interested to see what happens there. And then we're going to go over some hot takes, and we're of course going to give ourselves some hot takes that we're all going to have to hope make actually happen this week, because we haven't had a lot of them hit so far other than Matthews. So we're all looking to get some wins.
3-1, baby. 3-1.
On to the World Cup. I'm just gonna go through real quickly. I'm gonna tell everyone about our groups and then kind of compare them to the groups and where teams finished. We had the Netherlands and Senegal making it out of Group A, so we were correct in Group A. Group B, we had England and the U.S. The U.S. and England did make it out of the group. Argentina and Poland made it out of Group C, so we got both those right. And now this is where we kind of went a little stray. Denmark and France. Denmark did not make it out of the group. They finished with 1 point, unfortunately. They were replaced by Australia. And then we had Germany, Japan/Spain. Unfortunately, Germany did not make it out of the group on the last day. Japan and Spain made it, though. Group F, Croatia made it out, while Belgium fell short once again with the golden generation, and Morocco advanced. We're currently waiting on Group G. We know Brazil will be in group at the top of group, or will be in. They're confirmed to be in, but we are waiting on the second team. It is possibly all three teams have a chance today. So whatever happens, happens. And then Group H, group that wrapped up this morning, we got Portugal. We correctly guessed Portugal. Uruguay, unfortunately, did not make it out of the group. The South Koreans made it out instead. So we were pretty close. We only missed 4 teams. We're kind of waiting on the 5th one to see if we're wrong on that one yet. But we're going to go through the round of 16 and give our predictions. The first game we have, the lovely United States of America tomorrow play the Netherlands. Where is the temperature in that room?
Well, if I was going to give a prediction for this one, well, before I even say anything, I'm proud. I'm proud of the U.S. boys for making it to the last 16. To be honest with you, I really didn't think we were going to make it. I know I wasn't there when we predicted this stuff, but I really didn't think the U.S. were going to make it. And I've been really impressed. We haven't lost a game, and you could arguably say we played good enough to win all three. We played really, really well. We dominated the ball against England. We gave up a last minute penalty to Wales, and we beat Iran fair and square until, Greg Berhalter, the manager, made some subs to try and make us lose by going to a back five so they could just pepper shots at us for the rest of the final 15 minutes. But
He wanted us to have a heart attack for the last 15 minutes of the game. That's all he wanted.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. But the Netherlands, they've been good, but they haven't been I guess insanely impressive to me. Like when you watch them play, it's a little, I don't know. It just doesn't look like very fluid. It doesn't. I'm not convinced of the Netherlands. They're obviously a good team. Netherlands are obviously a good team. It's going to be really, really hard. I mean, they drew 1-1 with Ecuador, beat Senegal 2-0, and then beat the worst team in the tournament, Qatar, only 2-0. They when it comes to goals, they're not insanely high in that. Cody Gakpo is a really, really good player. Of course, they have Memphis Depay. But what I'm worried about is Virgil van Dijk, because the U.S. cannot score goals. We don't have a Robert Lewandowski. We don't have, a Lionel Messi. We don't have a clinical. We don't have a Ronaldo. We don't have a clinical goal scorer. I mean, whenever Tim Weah shoots, it goes 100 feet over the bar, pretty much every time.
I don't know. I think Tim's probably one of the ones that puts it on the net. The midfielders need to stop shooting. They send the ball over the bar every time.
Them too. And of course, Pulisic is day to day. So we're hoping that he can
he's
play.
Gonna play. They've already said he's gonna play.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. I saw the interview with him. He looks fine. He's ready to go. Josh Sargent, I'm not sure if he's gonna play or not. I haven't heard any words on that of his injury. I'm not really worried about his injury because I think our best strikers not played a minute at the World Cup.
Yeah, Jesus Ferreira. I think he does need to play tomorrow.
I mean, he scored 9 goals in the Turkish league. I mean, I know it's just a Turkish league, but nobody else has scored more goals in any other league.
No, he's one he's scored 9 goals in the MLS. Haji Wright's the one in the Turkish league.
Oh, okay, Haji Wright is. I like.
Yeah, Jesus Ferreira's in.
Yeah, I always forget, but I think Jesus Ferreira is probably.
He's not very good in run of play.
He's probably just the best player when it comes to just putting it in the back of the net. And I would hope he would come on against the Netherlands if we're close. In the last 10 minutes, maybe the last 20 minutes, he might come on and see if we can do something. But when it comes to this, both teams are not insanely clinical goal scoring teams, but both have been very good defensively. We have both given up 1 goal at the World Cup, us in the Netherlands. So I'm going 1-1. Penalties.
Who wins in penalties, though?
U.S. U.S. win on penalties.
All right, Adam's rolling with the U.S. So, I would love to be that U.S. fan that's going to ride them into the grave here, and I honestly think they have a chance if nobody's noted. The Netherlands, like Brazil, had the flu break out in their camp just this past week. And there's been a lot of players who are listed day to day, including Frankie de Jong, who's now, from reports I've seen, in terrible condition, that might not play. So I think the U.S. might just get a little cheeky win. I think it's 2-1. I want to say there's a stoppage time goal for their win.
Man, it's really hard to say it because you can't have nicer people than the people in the Netherlands. But you hate to root against them only if they play against us. But I'll be the downer in the group. I think US has done an excellent job, I think, because what are we, the youngest team in the whole entire World Cup, or
third youngest?
We're the 4th youngest.
4th youngest. So just think about that and like how big a stage this is, and plus having it the wrong time of year. So you just got Pulisic won't be. I don't care if he's saying yeah from my hospital bed, his hospital bed, but he's not going to be at 100%. I wouldn't expect anyone to be 100% after that. But I think I cannot think of our goalie's name, but he's been excellent.
Matt Turner.
Oh
Matt
my
Turner.
God. He has been terrific. And I kind of agree with Adam. I think it's going to come down to penalty kicks. I think it's going to be a 0-0 and then penalty kicks. But I think because Netherlands has been there and done that, I think Netherlands wins in penalty kicks. Boring game, I know, but yeah.
I do want to make this
Alrighty.
one prediction for the goal scorer. I think this is a guy who deserves to score a goal. Tyler Adams, the captain. I think he's gonna grab, a scrappy goal. The ball's gonna be floating around the box. He's gonna run and go get it like he's been running around the field for all 3 games, doing pretty much everything. And he's gonna go grab one.
I'd like to see Tyler Adams score a goal. It'd be nice. But we're on to the next game, the same game that's coming out of our group, England versus Senegal. I'm going to open this up. I think it's going to be a tough game. I didn't really like what I saw from Senegal versus the Netherlands. England is just looking to thump everybody. I mean, you can learn a little bit from the U.S. game. I think probably the biggest thing that came out of the U.S. game was just the fact that England couldn't finish their own chances. But I think England win pretty single-handedly. I'd probably say it's a 2-0 route. I just think Senegal's not going to be able to deal with their 5 subs that they can bring out on any game basis, including Phil Foden, Grealish. I mean, you can throw anybody out there that's probably miles better than Senegal, and I just think they're going to crumble under the pressure. So I'm going to go England.
I'm going England in I'm 5-0 blowout. I really think they make that kind of statement. I'm not saying it's going to be 5-0, but I think England, after you saw that tie with the United States, that's basically like, let me see, basically us or them beating us in baseball. Let's just put it like that. Them beating us in baseball. So it's kind of, I think it's a little bit of pride, a little bit with them this time, and I think they've got to show it with Belgium out, with they have Germany out, with Uruguay out. Brazil's going to be in there, but to be honest, England is now probably, I would say, the number 2 seed-ish, if you want to put it that way. So I think they're going to make a statement win against Senegal.
If I was gonna go on this one, England normally at the World Cup, at least the last time out, when it comes to the knockout stages, they've always seemed to crap themselves pretty much and make things a lot harder for themselves than it needs to be. And I do kind of feel bad for them because Gareth Southgate, their coach, is probably plays the most boring style of football you possibly can with some of the best and most exciting attacking players in the world, which is the same for them. And you never know if he's going to make them play boring and play defensive and play on the counter attack. So because I think they are going to play that way, I think it's going to be 2-1. I think Senegal are going to, and I think I'm going to predict it doesn't go into extra time, but in stoppage time, 93rd minute, Marcus Rashford adds another goal to his goal collection, and England move on.
I feel like that's pretty fair. I feel like this game's going to be quick, very simple. The Australians, no matter where you put them, they're facing quite literally what was considered to be the best, one of the better teams coming into this tournament. It's Messi's last time playing. I think they might, if they were to scare them, they would scare them in the first half. But once again, I don't think Australia is going to have the wheels to work against Argentina. So I think it's a 2-0. I think it's like a 3-1 route. I think maybe it's like 1-1 going into half, and then they just come out and just get killed. So I'm going Argentina.
I think, you know what? From my boy Chris Hemsworth, I am not picking Australia. I'm kidding. I'm just not picking Australia, but I think it will be a close game. I think, man, it just like you said on previous shows, Lionel Messi really hasn't shown up for the World Cup, and you kind of just got to put that into perspective. But how old is Lionel Messi right now?
30.
I think he's 30.
So it's probably his last World Cup. So it's his last World Cup, most likely.
He's 35.
Or close to it.
Yeah, close.
Yeah, close to it. If he plays at 39, he'll be like the LeBron James of soccer right now. But just kind of, Argentina. I have beating Australia 3-1. Australia's not going to lay down. They've shown that in the group stage, and no one believed in them going in the group stage. So at least not a lot.
I just kind of felt that group was kind of weird. I didn't really think Denmark played to their full potential, but that's just my opinion.
If I was gonna go for this, I'm not gonna predict a shock here. Argentina 2-0, pretty comfortable. They don't go full out. They save themselves for the next round, but they make sure they get the job done.
Yeah. On to the next game. This game, it might be tougher in your guys' opinion. But just once again, it's another group from that Australia-France group. France honestly looks like the best team in the tournament so far, just on a game-to-game basis. They've been amazing. I feel more confident. I did watch the Denmark game. I thought there were moments where it looked like Denmark could have broken them, but they just kind of kept it together. And Kylian Mbappe's just murdered defenders so far the whole tournament. And the Polish they're good in defense. They've played pretty good. I just don't think they're going to have the quality and the depth to play with France. I think France wins probably. I want to say it's like 2-1. I think Robert Lewandowski and that attack will still keep Poland in the game, but I think Kylian Mbappe does score both goals for France and they win.
I'll switch off with you, Adam. You can go.
All right. Well, I would just like to put out this fun fact. Robert Lewandowski has one goal at the World Cup. He has only scored one time, and it was in this tournament. So when it comes to the World Cup, it's not really him that pulls through, even though he is great. You do have to remember the players around him are terrible. And I mean, they're better than me, but they're not anywhere near Robert Lewandowski's talent. And I think people really focus in on like making sure that we do not let Robert Lewandowski get the ball. And I think because the players around him, he doesn't have like a Gavi that he has at Barcelona or, Frenkie de Jong that can get him the ball and in any position and make some incredible passes. It's really, really tough to get Robert Lewandowski the space and time to score, especially because everybody just swarms. Like the defense just swarms Robert Lewandowski. They don't let him. They deny him the ball at all costs. So I don't think Poland are going to score in this. I have France 3-0. I think France are going to dominate this game pretty much, and it's going to be 0-0 for about 60 minutes, and then the final 30, Poland's going to tire. The defense is going to start breaking down, and the goals will start flowing.
I kind of agree with Adam on the it's gonna be very close until it's not. Until like the 60th minute. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised actually if Poland like took it to extra time or something. I would not be surprised at all. They're also playing for national pride the way the wars going on in Ukraine, all that kind of stuff. I would not want to be going back to Poland right after this. So a little too close there. But I think I have about I want to say 3-1, but I'll say 2-1 France. Because no one's really blown somebody out except England in this whole entire tournament. No one's really like, it's not been a lot of goals scored.
Spain against Costa Rica.
Oh yeah, that one. But there's been only two, like there's 2 games. And how many games have we had? There's
been a lot of 0-0s at this World Cup.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of 0-0 games. I've had a conspiracy theory about it. I think that because I've noticed a lot of shot. I watched a lot of like Premier League football and La Liga, and I've noticed that the ball, when people shoot it, when it goes like over the bar, it goes like a million feet over it. I don't know why, but I just think that maybe the heat in Qatar is making the balls expand and making them bounce more, because it's weird. Because whenever people shoot from like outside the box or long distance, the ball soars over the goal. Like it just flies. And I've never seen it like go like so, everybody, like when they miss it goes like so high, it almost gets out of the stadium. I don't know if people are just like nervous or what's going on, but
sorry,
I don't know. It's been strange.
Inflate gate
sorry.
instead of deflate gate?
Inflate gate. I think it's just the heat of Qatar.
I got lost in the crash, so we're still good. I think we're on YouTube still, so I think we're okay. But what was the prediction for that game?
I had France 2-1.
I had France 3-0.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. I froze and lagged up. So now we're on to Japan, Croatia. I think this is an interesting game. I know I've started off the last 2, so somebody else take over. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I guess I'll start. Beating my Germany team kills me. But Japan going through, which ended up being the group of death, and they got out of it. So I really think Japan, yes, this is a bigger stage. I don't remember the last time they were in the round. Were they in the round of 16 last World Cup? I'm not 100% sure. But because I always get, because women's for Japan is pretty good. But
South Koreans were in the last one. I don't remember. I'm looking right now for their team.
So they didn't make the knockouts.
Yeah.
I don't think they made the knockouts because the Koreans made the knockouts.
Yeah. So I think it's.
No, they did. They played Belgium and lost 3-2.
Okay. So,
okay.
So Japan has the momentum. And then Croatia, which is, I think, Alex, your dark horse, wasn't it? Out of the group stage or something like that. I think it goes into extra time and goes to penalty kicks, 2-2, I would say. And I think, man, it's really hard for me to say it, but I think Japan's going to win that game in penalty kicks, 2-2.
I'm going to go for a very similar score line here. I think this is going to be one of the most exciting games to watch. 3-2 Japan. Japan scores 3 to send themselves into the quarterfinals. I know Croatia have the experience, but there's a vibe about this Japan team. Like these players, like they play so well together. They have some goal scorers. They have decent players playing for good clubs all around the pitch. Their bench is actually pretty good. They have some decent subs coming off of it. Some that they've barely used. But I don't know. I have a good feeling about this Japan team. I think they're going to go far on vibes. I think they're going to make it.
I am unfortunately in the opposite. I believe the Croatians are actually very good at what they've done, and they proved it in the group. They play really hard. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder after that the Canadian team's comments about Croatia. I think there's a lot of people discounting them and just discounting, I think, like Adam said, there's a lot of experience on this team, a lot of big tournament experience. And I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be close. I can see it like a 2-1 extra time, stoppage time kind of deal. But I think between Andre Kramaric, Luka Modric, that combination that they have in the midfield and the attack, I think they just overpower Japan a little bit. And the Japanese defense has had some fragile moments, it seems like, against big teams. So I'd be a little more interested to see how defensively they both line up. And but I could see Japan winning. It just feels like Croatia deserves a win, though. The Japanese are good. They're young. I think they might just be a notch behind the Croatians, though. So on to Morocco versus Spain. This is the last game that we can predict right now. We are still waiting on the Group G to finish. So once Group G does finish, probably later tonight I'll text and you guys we'll throw some predictions in. But Morocco versus Spain, I believe the Spaniards keep rolling. I really like how this team's playing. I think they're young. I think they're hungry. I think the Moroccans are going to give them a scare for about 60 minutes. And then subs come in for Spain. Alvaro Morata, the super sub that can come off the bench and score. I think they just will their way through it. And unfortunately, I believe the Moroccans crash out of the group stage.
I think Spain's pissed. I mean, really pissed of losing to Japan. I think they're going to come out against Morocco 4-0. Spain. Spain's going to win that game, I think, handily. Because they have the experience. They pretty much don't have much else going on for their country right now. But sorry about my dogs. I think Spain makes a statement just like England, just saying we're still at the top.
You know, I'm gonna have to go with the complete opposite. There's always one of these duds. There's always a dud at the World Cup. And somehow, and you know what? I have a feeling I'm gonna be wrong, but this is gonna be 0-0. Spain go through on penalties.
I'm not the soccer expert, so I'm like,
the one thing that Spain don't have, I think their midfield is young and their midfield is getting better and better and better. They have the experience of Sergio Busquets with Gavi and Pedri and two of the most upcoming players in the world. Their defense, the defense has always been good. They've had, the likes of Sergio Ramos in the past. And, the one issue that I have, Azpilicueta is a bit old, but they have Rodri who's playing back there. They have a French player playing as a center back.
French player. He's a multinational. It's called multinational. You can change your national. It's like the NIL transfer. It's like the transfer portal. If you're not good and you don't play on your team, you can go to other teams if your grandma's from there. So.
Oh yeah, that's the USA team's motto.
Yeah, just take them all. If they're from the States, so you're not gonna play on your national team, we'll take you.
Yeah, Serginho Dest probably shouldn't be playing for us, but hey, there he is. But yeah, I mean, I'm only joking because I'm a City fan and I love Laporte. But their best player to attack is probably Ferran Torres, but their attack is just so mid. They have Alvaro Morata. It's probably who they're going to start up front.
I don't know. They've been bringing him off the bench, and he's been nasty off the bench. So, I mean,
I think he's a good player to bring off the bench. I probably wouldn't start him, but in the Euros, Spain lost on penalties, and I think that they are going to get their penalty revenge in this one. But I think just. History shows when a team like Spain have a massive game, they normally, there's always one team that has a massive 5-0. They had a 7-0 win. They normally struggle after that. After that 7-0 win, 1-1 Germany, 2-1 Japan. You know what I mean? They have teams, whenever they in the group stages, they score a load of goals in one game, they normally struggle to score for the rest of them. I think it's more of a wake-up call for the other countries to like, oh crap, they beat somebody 7-0. We got to defend. We got to take the ball away from Spain. And people really come out hard and they're like, okay, these guys are legit. We're going to give no thanks. We're going to go full. I think it's more of a wake-up call for everybody else. And I think it makes those teams struggle. So, because after that 7-0 Costa Rica, they haven't looked very convincing, have they? 1-1 to Germany, the loss versus with their first team, they lost to Japan. So I think this is I have a feeling, and Morocco, I feel like they're going to have very limited chances in this game. I don't think they're going to have much chances, and they're going to have to be really efficient with the chances that they get. And I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do that this time out, because Spain do have a pretty good defense. So I'm going to go 0-0. Spain get their penalty revenge from the Euros and go through.
All righty. Well, that's definitely could happen. Like I said, we're going to get back to these 2G and 1G games because unfortunately we do not know who's in, and I don't want to make predictions on teams that could possibly crash out today. Right now, those games are just kicking off, so we'll see what happens about 3:30. But I'm going to ask you a few questions. Who are you liking after the group stages? So pick one team. Pick your team that you like after the group stage. Tell me why. Maybe even if they're not done. I mean, I know a lot of people like how Brazil have played. So if you're enjoying how you've seen the Brazilians play, go ahead. Totally up to you guys.
I've only followed the U.S., so I'm man, if it was, we're supposed to be. I know it's a lot of politics or whatever. I was actually, if it wasn't for like we had to beat them or whatever to get in, I was actually rooting for Iran a little bit because the way they were acting, the way they were standing up for the people back home and all that kind of stuff. I thought that would have been a good story. I was like, if we lose to them, I'll actually be rooting for them a little bit. But I still think it's Brazil's to lose. Japan will is kind of the Denmark of the last. I think it was the last World Cup, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, they were in the Euros. They caused chaos in the Euros.
So they were Japan's the Euro version of Denmark, I think.
Adam, who you like in here?
Ooh, there's a couple of teams that I've really enjoyed. I've watched a decent amount of the World Cup, not anything insane, but I've really liked how Japan have played. I think they play really, really good football. They play attacking football. They play on the front foot. I think it's refreshing. A lot of teams in the World Cup, which I understand, play very, very defensive because they really just do not want to give up those goals because of how important these matches are. So a lot of them play more reserved, which I understand, but it's refreshing to have a team that really wants to go for it. So I've been really impressed with them, and I've been happy that they actually want to, go out there and try and beat other people. That's what I've been impressed with. One of the other teams that I am very sad didn't make it was Ghana. Ghana was one of my favorite teams to watch. The football they played was some of the best football in the entire tournament. Like they try to, I think they should be proud, even though they finished bottom. They tried to beat everybody. They didn't sit back and they tried to beat everyone in their group. They were going against like Portugal, Uruguay. They tried to beat them. And I forget, who did they beat? They won one.
They beat the South Koreans.
They beat South Korea. And 3-2.
Death of the game.
Like they really go for it. They really tried to win every single game. And I think that's, the US, we've played kind of defensive. We just held the ball around and we haven't really made many insane chances, and it's kind of boring to watch. yeah, we haven't lost a game and we got through, and I'm happy about that. But it's just boring. I like the teams that really go for it. So I've been happy with on, and of course, Brazil. I watch Brazil play, and it's just beautiful. Like they're just fun. Brazil, they've always been like that. That's their history. Their history is to be fun and exciting football players. So that's just what they do. So yeah, those are my big teams at this World Cup.
Alrighty, well, I got two. I'm gonna follow along. I'm actually gonna go Netherlands. I think the Netherlands have actually been one of the most interesting teams just based on the kind of compromisation of the team. It seems like there's a really good mix of young and old. Cody Gakpo has scored what would be considered a perfect hat trick in his first 3 games. He has a shot with his left, a shot with his right, and a header for a goal. So he's been amazing. It's been really fun to watch. I think they're a super interesting team, and they're a team. I think if the U.S. loses to them in the group stage, I'd be watching them to maybe make it to the finals. That might've been my pick last week. And then to pick a second team, there's been a lot of really interesting teams. I think the Portuguese are one of the most interesting though. The Ronaldo reliance has kind of seemingly disappeared. As this morning, we saw, they're getting wins. They're getting wins in other ways than just using Ronaldo to score everything. So, they're going to be an interesting team to watch on the other side of the bracket. But now I kind of wanted to pick, we've all seen these countries that have caused some chaos so far. Which country could cause some chaos in the group stage? I mean, it's almost that scenario of if everything goes wrong, who's causing everything to go wrong for some team?
Japan. I think that's got to be the leader right now, because I don't except for one of us in this group, thought Japan was even going to make it out of the group of death. So man, I think Japan's the one that could basically, like, using an NCAA March Madness, destroy our brackets.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat with Japan.
Yeah, I think Japan definitely is the big one, but I'm just gonna say watch out for the USA. You know what I'm saying? Watch out for the USA. That we've only let in 1 goal. And we arguably, if we had somebody who could put the net in just a little bit better, could put the ball in the back of the net a little bit better, we could have won all 3 games. And especially we didn't give away a stupid penalty for no reason against Wales.
Yeah, that one was.
We could have one of the highest point totals if Zimmerman didn't just absolutely tried to just pretty much kill someone. I still don't understand that, but I mean, I've been really surprised because the USA, they really keep the ball away from you. That's something that I've been very surprised. Like England were struggling to get the ball off of it. Like we has held possession for so long, and they were struggling to get the ball off of us. So we can control a game. It doesn't mean that we're going to score a lot of goals, but we can control the possession and keep the ball away from you, which is important at the World Cup. So I think we're underestimated because a lot of people didn't think that the USA were going to make it through at all, and we haven't lost yet. So I hope that we don't do that against Netherlands, but hey, we'll probably have to face Argentina if we beat them. So, but hey, you can't overlook the US.
Agreed. My pick is following along with the Asian theme. It is the South Koreans. I think the South Koreans have been really good through the group stage. They're a very interesting team. We thought it was going to be the Heung-min Son show, and it's really not. It's been a really good team effort. They've played really good defense. I know they give up 3 goals to Ghana. I feel like that game was just tough, but the other games, they really stuck in. They played good against the Uruguayans. They played really good against the Portuguese. They're a tough team to beat, and whoever comes out, it's probably going to be the Brazilians in 1G. But Brazil might have a tough time against them. I think you're going to have to play against a very quick counter team, and the Brazilians get deep into other teams' spaces and push the numbers forward. So if the South Koreans grab one or two out on some quick fast break and quick movement down outside or around the heart of the central for the Brazilians, I think could be an interesting game. So I'm going with the South Koreans. So that is the World Cup section. We are now on to the rest of it. We're going to intro Meyer and Dallas. Meyer, it is your first time being on, so you're here. Your name's beautiful. I like it so far. I'm enjoying it. So
yeah. Old name that I had. It must have been a few years ago.
Hey, well, we all enjoy seeing Louisville after they've lost all 6 games. So it might just be me though. It might just be me.
I'm up on the talk.
So we're on to a new segment. I'm calling this one the Island. So each person is going to pick a playoff contender, and then they're going to get 60 seconds to convince us why we should inevitably join your island for the team in the playoffs. So since it's Meyer's first time, I think Meyer has 60 seconds to explain to me who his playoff contender is and why.
So I'm going to go in a few segments. So my team on the line that I feel like that could do decent in the playoffs. I mean, it's a little biased, but I'm going to go with the Commanders. Commanders have Chase Young coming back this week or next week. They really look good on offense. They're moving the ball well, scoring 20-plus points a week. Yeah. That's all I got.
You got 30 seconds left. We got to hear some more. Taylor Heineke gets a new pair of Jordans every time they win. I mean, that's the reason to cheer for him, right?
Oh, yeah. I believe one of my hot takes is that they'll finish first in the wild card and second in their division, behind the Eagles.
Ooh, someone in this group is not going to like that.
So,
all right. So let's get a kind of a raise of hands. Who is on the timer's got to stop. Who is on the train with the Washington Commanders to be a playoff contender? No,
I'm going to raise my hand. I'm with you, Meyer. I think Commanders could have a little bit of surprising factor in this playoffs.
I don't know if they're going to lead the wild card. I want to say they'll lead the wild card race, but I think it's going to be tough. I think you're going to have to get a lot of breaks against the Giants and the Cowboys. I could see it in the classic everything goes to poop and everybody just starts losing because it happens at the end of every year. Teams just start losing randomly, teams we don't think should be losing, and playoff spots get a little differently determined. But I think I could be on board. I'm kind of there with you guys, so I'm going to give myself a half. So Meyer's got 1.5 people joining the island today. So
you know what? Give it another half. Give it another half, because I was thinking about this. Remember who's in the division. You're not going to catch the Eagles. Okay. Eagles pretty much locked it in. Okay. There's some team called America's Team in that division. And when have they proven they could put a whole season together? I'm sorry. I still don't trust them. Giants are falling down the rabbit hole. I think how many does Washington's already played New York once, right? Or are they still?
They play them this.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah. Do you play them 2 more times?
Yeah, we play them 2 more times.
Okay, then I definitely put a half on that, because I think the Giants are realizing, oh crud, we can't throw the football. But after finally people are finally keying in on Saquon Barkley. Because, nobody thought he was going to have this kind of season. But the one big key is if the Washington Commanders want to make the playoffs, Chase Young has to be healthy.
I believe he's healthy.
I'm just saying I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like that kind of point. If Chase Young can get in, if not this weekend, the following weekend, I'd say like would be 2 weeks before Christmas. I think they have a shot because NFC South sucks so bad. NFC West, you have Seattle. San Francisco, I think, is going to win that division, but after all that, but Packers suck. When you have the Lions ahead of the Packers, this season's been turned on its head. Okay, so on ESPN they had them like before the Packers, so it's crazy stuff. Aaron Rodgers injured, obviously. Bears are playing for next season. We don't know about Justin Fields, so I could see it. I could see the Commanders getting that last wild card spot, especially in the NFC. AFC, if they were in the AFC, no question they're not even in. But NFC, I could possibly see it.
I believe the Giants will fall out of the wild card and not make the playoffs.
I like it,
Myers dropping just hot take after hot take.
Now, let me provide a little bit more reasoning why I'm in on the Commanders here. I believe it was the first 5 or 6 games of the year. They were one of the worst teams in coverage-wise, but these last 4 or 5 weeks, they're the number 1 team in the NFL in man-to-man coverage. Now you can talk about who they have at corner that's covering so well. I'm not even sure, but they're the best team in man-to-man coverage.
St. Just.
They are the best team in man-to-man coverage the last 4 or 5 weeks, and if they can keep that up, that's a formula to win.
All righty. Well, we got 2 people on Commander's Island. Technically, it's a half, but 2 halves make a whole. So, on to whoever would like to go next. Who's feeling their take here?
I'll go.
All right. Your minute starts. Right now.
Big win last week against Tennessee. Cincinnati Bengals, baby. Cincinnati Bengals. They had no Joe Mixon, no Jamar Chase, and they still controlled that game because of Joe stinking darn good Burrow. All right. The offensive line is holding up. Okay. Jamar Chase, I believe it's questionable this week. I doubt he's going to play this weekend, but I think it'll be the following weekend. You get Jamar Chase back. T. Higgins has been an absolute beast. You have Hurst. I know I'm forgetting someone. Oh, Boyd, duh. And the defense is finally holding up. And I had the guy that is up for the guy that not a lot of people talk about is Eli Apple. Some reason he always finds a way on these good teams. New Orleans, Cincinnati, when the Giants were good with Eli Manning. I think he's like the professional in the room, and of course Bates has safety. So
I am in on Cincinnati Island. Dallas knows this personally. We watch a lot of Cincinnati football here. I'm in on the Cincinnati Island. So
yeah, for a lot of people that don't watch the Bengals as much as I do, obviously every single week they're on the TV screen. I'm watching the game. But a lot of people saying we have a down year. And you look back, this was before last week's game, right? This is considered down year. You look at last year, we were 6-4 through 10 games, averaging about 27 points a game and 21 points allowed. Joe Burrow's passer rating was 103, and we had 32 touchdowns. This year was considered a down year on the offense, and our record was 6-4, averaging 27 points a game, giving up 21 points a game, passer rating of 103, and 32 touchdowns, the exact same numbers as last year. I don't know where the people consider down from. We're exactly the same. If you consider it down, then we are up. We are good. I'm glad Matthew brought up Eli Apple because the man gets hate for absolutely no reason. He's our number one corner.
He talks too much on Twitter. He needs to quit.
He hasn't talked that much on Twitter this year. He only talked about Tyreek Hill. That's about the only thing he said all year. And when he's locked in, he's our number one corner with Awuzie out for the year with the ACL. Matthew stole my pick away, so I'll be trying to find a new team to talk about here because I don't want to sit here and talk about the Bengals. But I'm all in.
Hey, I'm saying he's not doing as bad as Lamar Jackson this last week on Twitter, so
We are winning the division.
I agree.
All righty. Well, I think Dallas may have just cemented a new hot take. Cincinnati winning the division. So Dallas, I'm going to give you a minute to recoup on a new team. Adam, it's up to you or me here. Who you ready to go, or you ready for me to go?
I'm ready to go here.
All right, your time starts now.
Welcome to JETS Jets Island.
Oh
We
my
have
God,
some-
you took mine.
We have some of the great.
That's good.
Dang it.
We
I'm
have
out.
some of the best, most world-class accommodations here on our island to make it most comfortable for you. We have one of the best big ticket items in the middle for everyone. Quentin Williams, ready to destroy all of your problems and help your offense go forward. As well, and we with some of the great stuff that we have, everybody knows you need a little bit of sauce to get that flavor out. And boy, do we have some of the best sauce in the world on our island. It is one of the greatest that you will ever have. Believe me about that. And we may have lost our big ticket item. It's out on sale. I apologize. But now we have the triple course of Michael Carter, James Robinson, and Ty Johnson. What a great three desserts there for anyone to choose from. Especially with Mike White rolling everything down the conveyor belt, running everything smoothly and perfectly. And do not forget Denzel Mims, Corey Davis, Tyler Conklin, some of our best employees.
And Garrett Wilson.
And Garrett Wilson, up-and-coming employee, looking really, really good. Yeah, he'll do everything for you. He'll get you, room service, anything that you need. You are protected under one of the best coaches in the league, Robert Saleh, making sure that everything runs smoothly on all sides. Everywhere is going perfect. Trust in that. Thank you for listening. Welcome to the JETS Jets Island.
First of all, that's located in Jersey, correct?
Yes.
So, okay, no. No, I'm kidding. But I agree with you on Sauce Gardner. In my opinion, rookie of the year. Should be no question about that, in my opinion. I was joking about leaving. I'm I'm a half on the Jets because it's still the AFC. NFC, I would be a total thumbs up, but
I'm in on the Jets. I'm in on the Jets.
Eds.
I'm two hands in on the Jets.
I
I was looking at the playoff picture and I'm like, oh my God, no one's gonna pick the Jets. I'm like, I'm gonna go full Mike White stat depth this week, and hey, you beat me to it, so I'm in on the Jets. You have my name on the island. I'm sitting right there next to you on the lawn chair.
I'm in as well. I'm really high on Elijah Moore this week. He had 2 receptions for 64 yards and a touchdown. I believe Mike White will target him more throughout the weeks, and will definitely be a big piece in their core moving forward and in the playoffs.
Dallas, are you in on the Jets
I'll
island?
toss a little half, only because I found my team and I have to make an argument for them now. So that's the only reason why I'm not in on Jets.
All right, okay.
I felt like my commercial was pretty good. I thought I would get everybody on side with it, but I might need to make some tweaks to the commercial.
It's okay.
Like the Jets need to make tweaks to their roster, but
no, I think it's good right now. I think it's good. All right, Dallas, you have to go because I now have to find a second team. So
right. I think I know who you're going to be stuck with here. So I'm going to tell me when my time starts.
Give me a second. I got to pull it back up. All right, you 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to the island of injuries impacting the team play throughout the season. but we are getting healthy now at the right time. The weapons are coming back for one of the brightest young quarterbacks in the league. Welcome to the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert has those guys back. Mike Williams should be back in a week or two. Once he's healthy, Keenan is back healthy. You got the weapons back. This is what Herbert needs to spread the offense out. The offense is looking better with Keenan back, his go-to guy. Austin Eckler has been one of the best running backs this season. On pace to actually break, I believe, the target record for running backs in the season by CMC, I believe. The defense has been up and down all year. J.C. Jackson hasn't panned out from New England, but the offense is up and coming, and they will score and score and score.
I'm in on Chargers Island because that was my backup team to the Jets. So I am once again 2 hands in on the good old Chargers Island. How's the rest of the room feeling in Matthews? I feel that
not because of Rams, not because of the Rams. It's not because of my Rams. I'm not trying to. I really like Justin Herbert. Even him going against my USC Trojans, which I hope we talk about in a little bit. Where I was right. Saying that, yes, Austin Eckler, yes, maybe doing well for your fantasy team, whoever has him on fantasy right now, which I hate you, whoever has him on fantasy. Yeah, yeah. I really think the Chargers are a year away. I really think, and because yes, you have Justin Herbert. Can you keep the wide receivers healthy? That is the big thing. Because Mike Williams and Keegan Allen have not been, or is it? It's Keenan Allen. I'm sorry. Have not been healthy. Everett's been a very good surprise at tight end. Then the defense, it just depends on their schedule. If you have 2 more, how many times have they played the Broncos? Because there's 2 wins if you have 2 more times. But you have the Chiefs, going to be a piss-off Raiders team who can still score, by the way, whoever
they
has
play
Josh
the Raiders
Jacobs.
this week.
Yeah. So, and I believe, and they face the Miami Dolphins, who just kicked the Denver Broncos off of Sunday Night Football, by the way. So you got to remember, I would be for them if it wasn't for their schedule. It is just it is very, very tough. I'm not hating. I'm just like the schedule.
I'll pick in. I didn't look at the schedule when I picked this team because obviously it was a backup team, but they got the Raiders this week at the Raiders. Should be a win. You never know. It's a division game. Miami, I've chalked that up as an L. They play Tennessee at home. That's going to be a tough game. I can see the toss-up. They come here to Indianapolis to face the Colts.
Easy W.
Easy W.
No, I'm just saying.
They play the Rams.
Who beat Kansas City? I'm just sorry. I'm not. They only
Kansas
show up
City beat themselves.
Teams.
I don't count that.
They only show up against good teams. Sorry, keep going. Oh, sorry.
They play the Rams, who this week I just got an alert. Matthew Stafford is healthy, but he's not starting. John Wolford will start for the Rams, and then Denver to end the season. So I could.
Well, that's a good. Nice
I could see 4 wins. I could see 4 wins to end the season. Could that be enough to get in? I don't know, but we could see.
I see 8 and 9, and just can't get in the AFC.
I think they get in because they're second in the division, but I think there's going to be a drop off from the Patriots. I think the Patriots will drop off. I don't think the Colts will make a surge late enough. The Raiders aren't going to make a surge. Cleveland and the Steelers aren't going to make a surge, just how far back they are in their division. So I think it's going to be tough.
Trevor,
you got to watch. They're just not in a spot. That's the problem with they're just not in a spot to. I mean, even if they win out, it's tough. I mean, they'd have to win every single game, and they go Ravens, Lions, Titans, Cowboys, Jets, Texans, Titans.
Ooh.
Yeah, I just looked at them to say that I think they could win out, but I unfortunately think they're just a bit short. Anybody else in on the Chargers Island, or is it just me on the Chargers Island?
I'm not. I believe the Chargers will sneak in and the Bengals will fall off and not make the playoffs.
Dang. Ouch. Ouch. So are you in on the Chargers Island or are you out?
Me? I'm out. I'm in. Yeah.
Oh, you're in. All right, you're in. Anybody else in on Chargers Island, or Adam, you still liking the Raiders?
I was hoping that nobody ever brought that back up.
Adam had a love-hate relationship to start the first 3 weeks of the season with the Raiders.
Could they stop
picked them to win the
USC?
division.
I'm just saying. Could they
Picked them to
stop-
win the division. I feel
They're,
so
gonna win,
stupid.
they're just gonna win out. They're just gonna win out. It doesn't matter. They're just gonna win out.
No, I'm not in on them.
All right. Well, 2 people on Chargers Island. I am now down to my third option of islands. So here goes my island. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the We Wrote Back Island, the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, God.
They did not sit down. They wrote back. They are currently second in the NFC West at 6-5. They face the Rams this week. Looking at their schedule, I'm going to be honest, it does not scare me. Like, really not at all. I don't really see much that I'd be like, oh, wow, they could really lose a few games. And I mean, it's going to be tough. You know, you always do have to face they have to face 49ers, but they play Rams, Panthers, Chiefs, Jets, Rams again. So, I mean, like the 49ers, the Chiefs, and the Jets, you know, those are tough games. You chalk up a loss or two in between there. But overall, I just want to go by some metric numbers per usual. Where are they? I literally just had them pulled up and I lost it. Oh, currently Seattle ranks overall in weighted DVOA. They rank at a 9.3. They're in 11th place. There's only a few teams in front of them, and none of them, other than San Francisco and Kansas City, are teams they play for the rest of the season. They've had a really good defense. I think that game against the Raiders was kind of a chalked game from the jump. Just kind of weird. Their offense has been really good. I'm really excited to see them. I think they make the playoffs. I think, like we've all said, I think one of those NFC North teams or 2 of those NFC North teams take a few losses here and there, you know, maybe drop below. And the NFC South is so bad that nobody can make it in. And I don't see the Lions jumping anyone. So I'm all in on the Seahawks. I'm on Seahawks Island. Anybody joining me on Seahawks Island?
Been
I
to
will be
Seattle.
joining.
Been to Seattle. I'm not going back to Seattle, so no island for that.
Am I
I will
gonna
join
get
the
moved?
island.
Yes, I was gonna say, I'm the host is gonna be the one guy who can't get a person on his island.
No.
Seriously.
No, I'm joining because there's not a chance all 4 NFC East teams make the playoffs, and Seattle's right there. And I think they overtake somebody. I think that will be the Giants. Myself, like I said, I'm in on Commanders Meyer, so I think Commanders overtake and Giants fall off, and Seattle overtake the Giants as well.
I like that take.
Yeah, I can't see the Seahawks making it. I have so I have all of the NFC East teams making the playoffs. I have all of them making it.
But here's the thing: they all have to beat each other. That's my point. Like, they still have to play each other. So, like,
Yeah,
mathematically,
but who else
it
is
does
going to
not
beat
work.
them? It's only the Seahawks that can take one of those spots. That's pretty much it.
Exactly, but that's my point. That
They've lost 2 in a
somebody's
row.
gonna have to lose the NFC East. Somebody's gonna have to come in fourth. And I think that team that comes in fourth is just gonna lose out to the Seahawks for
I mean,
being number 2.
They have the 49ers, Chiefs, and Jets late in the season. That's not going to be a walk in the park.
That's 0
They just lost to the Raiders.
They only lost to the Raiders because of how bad that game was. I mean, it was literally freezing. I mean, Derek Carr starts the game off throwing a pick straight to the defense. I mean, they probably let it get to their head a little bit too much. And Josh Jacobs absolutely destroyed everybody. So I'm just saying They haven't moved on the bubble right now for the playoffs on NFL.com. So I'm just putting where it is that they are 6-5 and everybody else is 5-7 and either in the NFC North or South. So I don't see anybody jumping them. So it's really theirs to lose. It's really someone else to lose to bring the Seahawks in. So I guess I'll only get one person on my island. It's just one of those days. So now we're done. I like the island. I may have stole it from another NFL media source. Nobody will know other than Dallas. Just don't at me if they somehow find this and watch this. Don't at me that I stole your stuff. Sorry, it's just a good idea. But now we're on to college basketball. We had a crazy 2 weeks of college basketball. So today we're going to do some winners and losers. Who would like to open up winners and losers? I think Dallas has to open it up since he's like the college basketball guru.
I can open this up. Yeah, so I got a few winners here. My second winner is definitely going to be surprising, but my first winner is the Texas Longhorns. They've had an incredible few weeks of college basketball here. They beat Gonzaga by 19. I understand these wins are at home, so they're not like as good of wins, but you still beat a Gonzaga team ranked number 2 at the time, who's fallen down the rankings a little bit. And then last night, you come at home, you face a really tough Creighton team. Alex, you know how much I love Creighton. Creighton is one of the sleeper teams. They shot really bad from 3 yesterday. I believe it was 4 out of 27 and only lost by 5. But Texas, that's testament to Texas defense. Take really tough shots Creighton had to take. Texas is really good at defense. The guard play is key for them. Marcus Carr, really clutch shots down the stretch. Tyrese Hunter, very good. The freshmen will keep getting in and in. So I really like Texas as one of my winners. And my second winner here is going to be somebody, I don't know if any of you know him. It is Yuri Collins from St. Louis, leading the league, leading NCAA in assists per game, had 20 assists the last game. He's actually averaging more assists per game than points right now. The only player to do that as well. St. Louis is a very interesting team. They only lost to Auburn by 5. I think they're going to win their conference. I think they can make the tourney. This dude is much-watched basketball. I know some people like scoring, but, man, when you like passing, this guy can pass. Last game, they beat Tennessee State. He had 4 points, 8 rebounds, and 20 assists. This man, only 1 turnover, by the way. This man does not turn the ball over either. That's incredible assist turnover ratio. So if you can, watch this man. On the loser side, I have a couple mixed things in here. I'll get to the Blue Bloods in a second, but we have 2 teams off to one of the worst starts in college basketball history, and they could be the worst 2 teams in college basketball history, and that's Louisville and the University of California. Louisville is 0-7, California is 0-8. They're off to record pace starting-wise. California hasn't lost this many games in a row since 1915. They're unbelievably bad. Can they beat Oregon State from last year? Oregon State was 3 and I believe 21-24 in last year. They were horrendously bad. I think one of these teams could win 1 or 2 games and be really bad. And then the last thing I got to talk about here on the loser side is the Blue Bloods. It has been a rough start for Kentucky. Kansas has looked shaky. Duke has looked shaky. And then obviously North Carolina. I mean, these teams are struggling out of the gate, which is very surprising. Obviously, they played some kind of tough competition. So, but very surprising start. I think they'll be up and they'll be fine later on in the season. But if I had to pick one that I'm most concerned about right now, it's actually surprisingly not North Carolina. It's Duke. I believe when you rely on Jeremy Roach to be your main scorer, it's going to be really tough come tournament time. There's going to be tough guards. He's not going to be able to get to the rack that much. You have the number 1 and number 2 recruit in the nation that's not playing well at all right now. If I go look at the stats for Duke right now, you have the number 1 player in the class come out, and he has just not been it. He's averaging 4 points a game. He's only playing 17 minutes a game. He's not giving you any boards either. He's 7 foot tall. He's giving you 3 boards a game. He's just not giving you anything. And then Dariq Whitehead as well, number 2 recruit. I know he's injured to start the season, but he's only averaging 5 points a game right there. Those 2 guys have to step up for Duke, and I think they will as the season progresses.
All righty. Who would like to go next?
Oh, okay, Louisville. Speaking of Louisville.
Oh, so my first winner is UConn. 8-0. They have 3 top 50 wins with Oregon, Alabama, and Iowa State. I really like how Dan Hurley has his team going. This week they beat Iowa State and Oklahoma State. They have 4 guys averaging double figures. They really can move the ball well. 12th in assist in the nation. And then my second winner is the Texas Longhorns. Like Dallas said, 6-0, 2 top 10 wins versus Gonzaga and Creighton. I believe Chris Beard is a top 5 basketball coach in the nation. They're not the best scoring team, but they really get it done on the defensive side. Then they play number 16, Illinois, on Tuesday. I believe they'll win that game. Then my honorable mentions for winners this week: Purdue, New Mexico, Kent State, and Penn. For my losers, got to go with Louisville. They're 0-7. They got blown out by Maryland. Ranked last in assist and 4th from last in points scored. The real question is Kenny Payne's time already up? I believe his time's up. Time for a new coach. My second loser is Eastern Michigan. They're 2-6. They were blown out by Bradley and UC San Diego. They have one of the top prospects, Amani Bates, which I thought would be a lot better, like as a team, but they're playing too much individual ball and not team ball, which is leading to the blowouts. Honorable mention for losers: Villanova, Oakland, and Monmouth.
That's pretty good. That was pretty good, Meyer. I'm not gonna lie. Eastern Michigan was kind of off the page too. So, all right. Who's feeling what they got next?
I got this. Okay. So the winners, obviously, I think one of them kind of fell into it, which is Houston, because they're just playing their schedule and everybody else is losing. So I think they just kind of fell in. But nobody's talking about, I know Alex is going to cringe probably about this, but the Tennessee Volunteers.
They're not as good as everyone thinks they are.
I believe they just compete pretty well in the battle for Atlantis.
Yeah, but do you see their opening season losses? Very concerning. You shouldn't lose games like that as an SEC school.
Well, we got as an SEC school, basketball hasn't been top sport really in recently. Big Ten and Big 12, and even I wouldn't say, no, never mind. I'm not going to say Pac-12.
Big 12 doesn't even deserve the conversation of basketball. It's ACC and Big 10 can compete sometimes.
Big East,
but from
Big East, Butler. By the way, that was going to be my honorable mention. Is Butler's actually done pretty well, and yeah, about St. Louis as well, but. UConn, that whole entire program at UConn any sport right now is doing pretty darn well. The ones that kind of I wouldn't call them losers, but it just because of their schedule is Gonzaga. Because you got to really think about where they had to go for all these games and how many of them have been ranked against these teams. They had to play on an aircraft carrier against Michigan State. They had to go I believe it, what was there was a next one. I think it was all the way on the East Coast and they lost. Texas. So you got to remember these are 18 to 23, 24-year-olds out here. So it's still, but I'm sorry. And I forgot one honorable mention for good is Indiana. I really think they've kind of shown, yes, Creighton did terrible, no, I'm sorry, not Creighton. I'm sorry. Indiana has shown they have to be the face of basketball. That is the identity of IU University. Purdue's been that face since I moved here, a decade. So IU, along with Mike Woodson, who right now I think is up for Coach of the Year. And I think with Mike Woodson leading them, it's going to be pretty darn good. Losers, obviously, North Carolina. North Carolina has basically been sucker punched and been taken for all its money. I would put Duke in the same category, but you got to remember Coach K is not here. Coach K is not there. There is a big difference between anybody compared to Coach K. But the other big loser is got to be Louisville. I'm sorry. Keep piling on Louisville. There was a spray chart I saw on Facebook or whatever. Guess who's right next to him on offense and defense? You might know them. We go to this school. Is IUPUI. If you are in the even direction of IUPUI basketball, no offense to anybody there. IUPUI basketball, you are doing terrible. Okay. To be honest, it's too. I didn't even mention Kansas has been pretty good. There's been a lot more positives, I think, than negatives right now. Yeah. So.
All righty, it's between you and me, Adam. So who wants to go?
I'll do mine because I'm not a big college basketball watcher. I pretty much am like the most casual person. I just watch March Madness occasionally. That's pretty much it. So I'm not like a huge into what's going on and stuff. But I think for my winners is going to be Purdue. They're the only team I've actually ever watched like in person. I've been to 2 Purdue games, so this is the only college games I've ever been to. So it comes to basketball, I'm more familiar with Purdue. I think they got who is that one? He's 7'4"?
Zach Edey.
Zach Edey, yeah, he's unbelievable.
Yao Ming reincarnated.
Exactly, and he's not like skinny either. He's built. He's built already. So I think that guy's NBA ready pretty much. If he can stay out with the injuries, I think he's NBA ready. He looks physically, because there's some players that we've seen, that are long and pretty much are just bone when they get to the NBA and they really need to build that muscle. I think he's already started building that. So he could come in the NBA and just have a, just right off, just start well and just go. So I think they're doing really, really well. If I had to pick another team, I would probably go IU as the other one, the other Indian boy. They're both doing well right now. I think both 7-0, I believe. Haven't lost yet. I mean, we'll see what happens. And maybe they can go far. They both look good so far. So I'm gonna pick those. And I guess for my losers, I don't remember if we have picked them yet. I don't remember, but Florida State, another 1-8. and from the stuff that I've been looking at, they look just horrendous. And they're just missing so many shots. Like they just cannot score for the life of them. So, it's tough. It's tough for them. And of course, Louisville are 0-7. Sorry to pile on more, but I don't really know who else to pick.
They're bad.
All righty. Well, I'm also going to pile on to Louisville. Politely L's down forever. You guys suck. I didn't even put your full name. You just got considered Loserville today.
Coming from Kentucky.
So they're on my losers list, but I also threw Gonzaga on there. They are down to 14th in the nation already. I think they might have finally realized that if they go to a real conference, that they're going to have to play schools like this constantly. And I think, the hype was deserved at the beginning of the year, and it's kind of pitter-pattered out. I unfortunately have to give a winner to Purdue, even though I believe Zach Edey might be the most unathletic basketball player on the history of this earth that is good. It's just because he's 7'4". And then I'm going to give Virginia. They've been really good so far this year. Been a really interesting team to watch. I know Dallas, you talk about them quite often, right?
Yeah,
Virginia's.
I really like Virginia.
They're lethal. They're lethal. They can get going, and when they get going, it's kind of scary. They're currently ranked 3rd in the nation. I know it might be a little bit overarching for me saying that they're really good, but Armand Franklin's been great this season. The whole team just looks really good. Excited to see what they can do. And I gave an honorable mention to the IUPUI Jaguars. They did get a win this season so far, so already doing better than what we did last year. So
number 2's coming, Spalding University.
I have no on. I can't comment on the team.
Yes, Meyer is going to keep a neutral take on IUPUI basketball and keep it that way. But we have one of the biggest football weekends in college football coming up. We have 5 games that can possibly change the landscape of the college football playoff completely this weekend. I'm going to go through them, and then we're going to give our predictions of just who wins. So Big 12, Kansas State plays TCU. TCU's ranked 4th in the nation. Big 10, right in our backyard in Indianapolis, Michigan's playing Purdue. The SEC, Georgia plays LSU. The Pac-12, USC versus Utah. And then the ACC closes it out with Clemson versus North Carolina. So I think we're going to start with the Big 12. I'm going to go first. I believe TCU is just too good to lose, and everyone wants to see him in the college football playoff. Kansas State's going to give them a run for their money, but TCU holds on and gets themselves a W.
Agreed. The one year USC gets in is like, or possibly gets in, TCU's up there. It's like, that's the one team I root for. I think, what was it? Was it 2015? They were almost in the championship, or was it 2005? I know it ended with a 5, but
it was 2005.
Yeah.
Okay. That was the last time they were like nationally ranked, like above 10, I think.
Okay. So, yeah, I love the good story. So TCU Horned Frogs. The question is, if I think they do win because they will have home field advantage. You will not. It'll be hard for Kansas State people to get tickets. I know it's supposed to be 50-50, but there's no stinking way. I know it's going to be all purple, so no one's going to notice. But you're going to have TCU, I would say, by 14, I want to say 31-17, if I want to make a prediction there. But TCU, now the thing is, if they lose, do they still make the college football playoff? Now that's
no. Ohio State will piggyback them easily.
I disagree. I completely disagree, because TCU, you love to look at stats, Alex. Who has a tougher schedule? Who's had a tougher schedule, TCU or Ohio State?
Strength of schedule, TCU has a tougher schedule, but just knowing the committee would put Ohio State in.
I think they would put Alabama over Ohio State, but
No.
they would literally try to find a way to put Alabama in there. But so I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But Yeah, TCU wins 31-17.
Yeah, I don't really see much to talk about this week in college. I'm just gonna name my winners. TCU.
I'll go with TCU. I believe their defense is too strong for Kansas State to score more than TCU does. So I believe the score will be 24-10. TCU by 14.
Adam, you gonna go against the grain here?
No, I'm taking TCU 27-10.
All right. Well, we are all in on TCU. So if they lose, guys, we're in trouble.
So I'm
a
betting
game
14-17 as the score right now.
A game that I find interesting, the Big Ten matchup in our backyard, Michigan playing Purdue. Where's the temperature on this one? Because this is an in-state team, guys. So where's the bias coming out?
Does it look like I care?
I'm just saying, there's enough of us here that somebody's in-state biased. So
I think Michigan. It's Michigan's time. They lost their best running back for the season. Then they beat the snot out of Ohio State. Do not tell me otherwise, because Michigan looked like on another level over Ohio State in that game, especially in the second half. Purdue, man, it came down to the last week. What's their record? 7-5, I want to say.
yes, 7-5.
They're barely bowl eligible. So I'm just saying, like, I don't care if you have, I don't know how many seats Lucas Oil Stadium has. I don't care if it's all Purdue fans.
60,000.
Yeah, 60,000 Purdue fans there. I still think Michigan wins. I'm actually rooting for Purdue, because then it just creates total chaos. But I think Michigan wins this one easily, 31-3. I don't think Purdue has the ability to go up against that defense.
I agree. It's not even going to be a game. Michigan's going to blow them out. My prediction, 45-10.
We're really
I'm with.
Problem
I'm
is,
with
will
Meyer
Michigan
on
even
this.
have their starters in by then? I'm just saying.
Michigan by 30.
At least.
So I'm actually the optimist one here.
Adam
28.
Adam Purdue.
Let me think about that one.
I can see it. I can see it.
You know what? I don't watch college football that much. Screw it. Purdue 35, Michigan 28.
No sinking way they even get past 10.
I'm going for an upset.
I'm
Put
gonna
$5 on
go.
that, make $1 million.
I'm gonna go Michigan by 20. I think the game starts out pretty funny. I'm gonna take a guess. JJ McCarthy throws a tragic ball that ends up getting picked, and every Purdue fan in that stadium believes that it's their time to change the course of this game. But it's not going to happen. They're going to get 30 balled in the fourth quarter, or between the third and the fourth quarter. So I'm gonna say Michigan probably by 30 at least, maybe even 40. I watched what they did to Iowa last year. It was just kind of stupid. So on to the SEC though. We have Georgia versus LSU. This is an interesting game. This could be a mixed bag of decisions. Who'd like to open up this Georgia LSU can?
Louisville.
I'll go with Georgia. Georgia's just too solid. I don't believe anyone really can beat them. So we'll go Georgia. It'll be a like a close game, but Georgia by 14.
Georgia. Don't need anything else.
Georgia, I think LSU folds, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts getting so out of hand LSU puts in their backups. I really wouldn't, but They lost to Texas A&M, guys. Texas A&M. So
They're the
when they,
madness school, though. They cause madness every single year. They always screw somebody over out of a spot.
dude, Drake could beat LSU that last game, man. They're Division II. I think
Adam,
in football.
LSU take.
LSU 21-17.
Oh man.
Dang.
I am also rocking with Adam. I honestly wanted to say for the Big Ten game that Purdue somehow wins 2, and then that 1 and 2 both lose on the same weekend, and Kansas and TCU becomes the number 1 seed.
Oh, that would
I
be
would
so
just
great.
That'd be
For my
amazing
team,
to
but yeah.
That'd be amazing to see. But I think they win on a field goal. They cause a little bit of a madness down in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's supposed to be every time they're there that they win. I think they win 28. I want to say 28-25. I think some weird stuff happens. We got some funky numbers. Now on to the game that's actually tonight, USC versus Utah. Matthew, you get to open this one up.
Okay. First of all, can we please lock in Caleb Williams as the Heisman Trophy winner? Please. For Pete's sake. You did not watch that game, and if you don't think he's the Heisman Trophy winner, you did not watch that game against Notre Dame. Okay, he looked like Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, it is Notre Dame though. That is I was saying they were the worst. I think they were terrible. They've been terrible the whole season. And I've told everybody that they're terrible. They get crappy wins because they don't play anybody. So I just think they're just kind of a whatever team at this point.
But because it's been 2 weeks, so we beat UCLA in a shootout, which UCLA, look up the history of that game. No matter what what seat or whatever they're ranked, each team's ranked, that game is always close. You have beat Notre Dame. We had Oregon blow it against Oregon State. Thank you, Oregon State. And Utah just kind of slid in there, and it's very hard for any team to beat one team twice in a year. So I think USC definitely wins, I believe. I think it's going to be I know as a USC homer, I really want to see a blowout and just prove all the people of the East Coast bias wrong. But I think it's going to be about, I don't know how the defense, but I would say 38-34 USC. And the ironic thing is, we're not even ready for the college football playoff, and we still may make it. I'm just saying, we're not even it's 1 year. 1 year.
Who's going up next?
I'll go. And when we did our first show, we did our 4 teams in the college football playoff, and I had Utah in there.
I did too. So
it's been a tough time, but I'm gonna stick with Utah. Looking at the last game against USC, Rising really had a good game. I think he's gonna have an unbelievable game again. It's gonna be a really close game, just like last game. They won on a 2-point conversion last game. It's gonna be really close. Give me Utah by 1 again. Somehow they squeak out a win. I just can't go against them since they were my early season prediction. I don't like changing up like that. We'll have Utah cause a little bit of mess in there.
If I may ask one question to Dallas here, who would you rather see make it, USC or Bama?
Well, Bama's not going to make it with 2 losses. That's the thing. Like, they just can't. They're not going to put them in. If they don't put Tennessee in the top 10, they're going to jump in and put.
If the CFP was smart, which I really don't know if they are. Alabama's already out, so I don't know.
If Adams right.
Honestly, anybody but Alabama at this stage that I'd consider in. And honestly, I don't care about the college football playoff because who I like's not in there and not going to be in. So I really don't care who wins as long as Alabama's not in.
Yeah. I'm with that. I'm with that aspect. I actually would rather see. No, I don't like how Ohio State's run though because of all the stuff behind the scenes. But so I'm really hoping USC wins, or I'm gonna be a very sad boy coming this weekend.
I'll go USC by 3, 28-31.
You said USC 28-31.
Or yeah, 31-28, whatever.
All righty.
He's
Adam,
in soccer mode. He's in soccer mode. Let's put it that way.
I know Adam's watching Serbia versus Switzerland right now.
We cannot hear Adam. At least I can't.
Okay, is it working now?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay, you are actually right. I have that game pulled up. It's 2-2.
I know.
Halftime.
I'm about to make a lie. My hot take's literally about to be a live hot take.
But if I had to take one here, I'll go USC 24-21. Game-winning field goal.
I'm also going to stick with Dallas. I just don't know what it is, what they put in that Utah water out there. I don't know what they're giving them. Don't really know. Don't want to ask. Don't want to get in trouble. But I think Utah makes a really tough game. They're just been notorious the past few years for just being a very tough to get by team, and I think they might just cause some madness, and I think they win on like a last second 2-point conversion. Like last time Dallas said, just a 2-point conversion wins the game. But back to the point of Heisman finalists, I just want this to be noted. I'm looking at this currently. I'm going to name you the player's stats, and you tell me who deserves to win the Heisman finalist. So 3,712 passing yards, 34 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Player number 2, 3,070 passing yards, 66% completion rate, 29 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Who's A and who's B?
B's Caleb Williams because of his rushing touchdowns. You have not put them in the rushing touchdowns in there.
Who's
So
A?
A is Caleb Williams with 34. 2
Oh,
is
then-
Max Duggan of TCU with
Oh,
29 touchdowns.
I was thinking you weren't
Essentially.
adding the rushing touchdowns in, but he's at 4. If I remember correctly, his total touchdowns is in the 40s.
Yeah, he has 44 total touchdowns. He's still one behind Western Kentucky's Austin Reed, who has
Ooh,
45.
And he's in the conversation. Yep. That poor guy.
If you really look at like Heisman this year, I think this year's been like one of the more crazy years for Heisman, where you really don't know what's going on. And
Hey, we got Serbia just scored.
No,
Yeah,
Switzerland.
Oh, sorry, Switzerland.
Switzerland 3-2. Holy 3 minutes into the second half, they already scored.
Dang it. Don't break my hot take, Switzerland.
Yeah, there's the colors. I couldn't see. My eyes are terrible, man.
Oh my god.
All right, let's speed run this game for the ACC. Nobody really cares about it. There's not really a lot on the line.
Amen
I'm
to
taking
that.
a North Carolina win because sorry, Dallas, I just don't believe in Clemson anymore.
Clemson dub. I want Dabo to play Klubnik at least in this game or the bowl game. I know he probably won't, but I want him to. Clemson W regardless. Will Shipley's too good for North Carolina.
I think Clemson's the only one that has a chance to beat an SEC foe in the Orange Bowl, so I'm going Clemson.
I'm going Carolina. Clemson's overrated.
I'll take Clemson by 14.
All right. Now we are on to the lovely section / dreaded section, depending on who you are in this room. We are on to hot takes.
Before hot take, can I say just one thing? Women's college basketball. Can I slide in for just a minute here? I know a lot of people don't watch college, especially on the women's side, but I know Alex was sitting in here with me last night.
Oh my God, Caitlin Clark was hooping.
Dropped 45 last night on NC State. I know they took an L, but big time 45 points for Caitlin Clark. She's so fun to watch. There's some good games last night. Maryland won on a buzzer beater against Notre Dame. IU really pounded North Carolina, even without Grace Berger, their best player. IU is one of the top teams in the nation. And if you move forward just a little bit here, you head on over to Sunday, and there's just really one game I want to talk about. I think it's Sunday. UConn at Notre Dame. It's going to be a big game. Really good test for UConn here to see how they stack up against top tier competition.
All right. Now we're on to hot takes. So who'd like to open up with their, let's recap hot takes from last week. So I had Kentucky beats Georgia, or this was from 2 weeks ago. Lions beat the Bills. Japan beats Germany 2-0. I was so close to all those hitting. So close. Rishi had Ohio State losing to Maryland, Ohio State to the finals of the tournament, and Rishi gets 2 hot takes to win. He is dropped down to 0-9. I'm at 2-9. Matthew had Mississippi State beating Ole Miss on Thanksgiving, moving him to 3-1. Noah Stranahan opened up with a winless record. The Colts did not beat the Eagles. Creighton did win Maui Invitational, correct?
They did not. Arizona.
Oh, it was Arizona.
And Qatar did not make the round of 16. So he completely missed. Dallas had Duke losing to Bellarmine, Butler beating Tennessee, Pepperdine beats UCLA, and 4 teams from the WCC make the NCAA tournament. That is a futures. He had St. Mary's, Pepperdine, San Francisco, and Gonzaga. Dallas moves to 2.5 and 8. So I think it's only right that Meyer opens up. Meyer, you're new to this, so we're throwing you in the fire. We have your Commanders are second in the division, and the Giants drop out of the playoff picture, but you have a hot take for this week?
I have a whole list, but I have some future ones too.
Oh, Meyer, I like it. Start off big.
Lay them out on me.
Okay, so this week I have Kent State beating Gonzaga in college basketball. And then I have Tulane beating UCF in the bowl game. Then I have the Commanders beating the Giants, the Jets beating the Vikings. Denver beats number 22 UCLA next Saturday in college basketball. Then I have Maryland wins the Big Ten for college basketball. Yep.
I like that.
Kent State wins the MAC in college basketball. Texas wins the Big 12. And then you have my Commanders finish second in the East and get the top wildcard spot.
Can you repeat those? Tulane wins the what?
Tulane beats.
No. Kent State wins the what division are they in?
MAC.
Maction, baby. And then what was the last one you had? So you had the Maryland wins Big 10, Kent State wins, and then Texas wins Big 12?
Yeah.
All righty. Wow. Myers got the house on the line over here with a lot. So we'll be excited. We're gonna keep with that. Even if you're not on the show, I always do like to come back. If you do hit on something, I will come back and I'll bring it up, no matter if it's against my teams or not. I don't really care, but sometimes I do. On to whoever else would like to go. Dallas, I know you have Cincinnati already winning the division on a futures, but what do you have for this week?
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and pop to tomorrow. Last week, or you just said last week's hot takes, or 2 weeks ago, I had 4 teams from the WCC making a tourney. Well, St. Mary's plays number 1 Houston tomorrow, and they are going to beat number 1 Houston tomorrow.
I was gonna put that on there, but I feel like Houston's gonna pull it out.
You guys enjoy these college basketball takes.
Love college basketball, man. What can I say?
I'm gonna go one at a time. I'm 3-1, so I'm just going one thing at a time. Boy, I'm not even sure of the line here. I'm rooting for my guys. Actually, I'll make it 2 because I have a high school bet too. You have Boise State winning the Mountain West. Which is sad because if Fresno State won, it'd actually make USC look a little better, but never mind. But then shout out to all my people in Yorba Linda. Yorba Linda Mustangs, 14-0, CIF Southern Section champions, Division III, 1,800 kids. They beat 4 teams with a combined average population or combined population of 12,000 kids in their divisions. They play the Liberty Patriots of Bakersfield. Liberty is favored in this game according to the OC Register. Yorba Linda wins that game and they will go on to CIF state championship. Literally right there, man. My cover. Let's go.
All righty, Adam, or maybe we're gonna let Adam close this one out. I'm gonna take some swings here. I'm actually gonna go with what I said earlier. I think there's complete madness in college football this weekend. Purdue wins, then LSU jumps out and grabs Georgia, and then I think to make it even more crazy, I think Utah beats USC.
Wow.
Well, I'm safe with your record, so.
Hey, I started the year out 2-0. I fired some like massive parlays that hit, and it'll change. It changes real quick. You won't remember it. You'll be like, one week you'll be like 3-1, and then the next week you'll be like 3-9. You'll be like, what happened? We only take the hottest takes. Only take the hottest takes. Adam, close it on out for us.
Well,
Jets to the Super Bowl.
you know, I don't know if I should do this anymore after my mine at the beginning of the season saying that mine would
I don't
make the
I'm gonna
Pro
have to
Bowl.
look for your record. So
I don't think I've gotten one. I said Naheem Hines would make the Pro Bowl, and
Could
this
happen,
is the
could
worst
happen.
season of his career. So,
and we traded him. So.
and he got traded. So there you go. That's just my prediction skills.
I got a parlay for if the Jets win. Over under 1.5 riots happen in New York if they win the AFC Championship.
But you know what? I'm gonna go for
televised riots.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a very specific prediction for this one. It's gonna be Colts Cowboys. It will be 15-12, no touchdowns. Cowboys get a game-winning field goal to ruin the hearts of Colts fans once again. Just make us fall further into depression as Brett Mahern kills our season finally, and the Colts can make a push for the number 2 pick in the draft, hopefully losing out every single game for the rest of the season because we are terrible, and watching this team is sleep. I'm just saying, if you need to sleep, if you're having trouble sleeping, turn on a Colts game. Just turn on Colts Broncos specifically. Turn that on, fall right asleep. Perfect nighttime. Nighttime
Melatonin.
Melatonin. Good melatonin right there.
All righty.
And I'm going for World Cup prediction as well. Going for one World Cup prediction. Japan are going to make the semifinal.
Wow. That's steaming. That is steaming. I'm looking forward to seeing these hot takes because we got a lot on the line over the next couple of weeks. So we'll be excited to see it. But once again, guys, thank you for coming on the show. We're glad to have everyone on. Glad to have you on for the first time, Louisville over there. I'm glad that you brought some Louisville hatred into the show. The USC, I'm still trying to get used to that color. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But it's been great to have you guys on, and I'll see you guys next week.
See you, Alex.